Good evening. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams with the evening news. The headlines. Parliament passes National Commission for Homeopathy Bill 2020 and National Commission for Indian System of Medicine Bill 2020. Harivansh re-elected as the Deputy Chairman of Rajya Sabha. COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 78%. Prime Minister to inaugurate and lay foundation stone of projects worth 541 crore rupees in Bihar tomorrow through video conference. And Japan's ruling Liberal Democratic Party elects Yoshihide Suga as its new leader to succeed Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. Parliament has passed the National Commission for Homeopathy Bill 2020 and the National Commission for Indian System of Medicine Bill 2020, with the Lok Sabha approving them today. Both these bills were passed by the Rajya Sabha on the 19th of March this year during the budget session. The bills aim at ensuring availability of high-quality medical professionals both for homeopathic treatment as well as for the Indian system of medicine. The National Commission for Homeopathy Bill 2020 seeks to repeal the Homeopathy Central Council Act 1973 and to set up a National Commission for Homeopathy. The Commission for Homeopathy will consist of 20 members, which will include a chairperson, the President of the Homeopathy Education Board, the Director General of National Institute of Homeopathy, the President of the Medical Assessment and Rating Board for Homeopathy, in addition to other members. The National Commission for Indian System of Medicine Bill 2020 seeks to repeal the Indian Medicine Central Council Act 1970 and set up a National Commission for Indian System of Medicine. The Commission will consist of 29 members, including a chairperson, the President of the Board of Ayurveda, President of the Board of Unani, Siddha and Sawa Rigpa, in addition to other members. The Lok Sabha was adjourned for an hour today after paying tributes to former President Pranab Mukherjee. Sitting MP H. Vasanta Kumar, eminent vocalist Pandit Jasraj and 13 former members, including Lalji Tandon, Ajit Jogi and Chetan Chauhan. As soon as the House assembled for the first time since the coronavirus outbreak, Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla paid glowing tributes to the departed leaders and security personnel who laid down their lives while protecting the nation since March. Birla also remembered corona warriors like doctors, nurses, sanitation workers, police personnel and voluntary workers who died while fighting the pandemic. The first of its kind monsoon session being held amid the COVID-19 pandemic saw members sporting masks and following social distancing guidelines while attending the proceedings. The 18-day session is being held amid unprecedented precautionary measures in view of COVID-19. MPs attending the House had to undergo a COVID test, and only those with a negative report were allowed to sit in the House. The security and secretarial staff in Parliament also had to take coronavirus tests before their entry. The chambers of both houses and the galleries are being used for the session, and big screens have been installed to enable members to witness the proceedings. The government today put the first supplementary demand of over 2,35,852 crore rupees in Parliament. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman presented a statement showing the supplementary demands for grants first batch for 2020-21. The first batch of supplementary demands for grants for 2020-21 includes 54 grants and 1 appropriation. Approval of Parliament is sought for the supplementary demand. The proposals involving net cash outgo aggregate to over 1,66,983 crore rupees and gross additional expenditure matched by savings of the ministries or departments or by enhanced receipts or recoveries aggregates to around 68,868 crore rupees. NDA candidate Harivansh has been re-elected as the Deputy Chairman of the Rajya Sabha. The upper house cleared his name by voice vote. BJP President JP Nadda had moved the proposal to elect Harivansh as the Deputy Chairman, and the motion was adopted. Later, Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu announced his name. The opposition had pitted Manoj Jha of RJD against Harivansh. However, opposition parties did not press for voting, and the JDU MP was declared elected by voice vote. Congratulating Harivansh, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said, be it as a journalist or social worker, the JDU MP has endeared himself to many. He said everyone has seen the manner in which he conducts the House proceedings. Mr. Modi said he belongs to all sides of the aisle and conducted proceedings in an impartial manner. Leader of Opposition Ghulam Nabi Azad, K. Keshav Rao of TRS, Prasanna Acharya of BJP, Tiruchi Seva of DMK and others also congratulated Harivansh. While adhering to social distancing norms amidst the COVID-19 pandemic, the Rajya Sabha today took up business on the first day of the monsoon session of Parliament. 15 newly elected MPs took oath. They include Shibu Soren of JMM, Zafar Islam of BJP, Dr. K. Keshav Rao of TRS, Tiruchi Seva of DMK, and Dinesh Trivedi of TMC. The House also paid obituary references to the passing away of former President and ex-member of the Upper House Pranab Mukherjee, as well as 3 sitting MPs Beni Prasad Verma, MP Virendra Kumar and Amar Singh. The monsoon session of Parliament began today. In view of the COVID-19 pandemic, the session is being held in 2 shifts, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. Except today, the Rajya Sabha will sit in the morning shift and the Lok Sabha will sit in the evening shift. The session will take up 47 items during its 18 sittings till the 1st of October. It will take up 11 bills to replace the ordinances. These include Indian Medicine Central Council Amendment Bill 2020 and the Essential Commodities Amendment Bill 2020. Some other new bills are also likely to be introduced for consideration and passage during this session. Earlier, Prime Minister Narendra Modi expressed confidence that Parliament will give the message in one voice that it is standing solidly behind soldiers guarding our borders. Speaking to media before beginning of the monsoon session this morning, Mr. Modi said the soldiers are protecting the borders of our country and all MPs are united in supporting our soldiers.
आज जब हमारी सेना के वीर जवान सीमा पर डटे हुए हैं, जिस विश्वास के साथ वो खड़े हैं, मातृभूमि की रक्षा के लिए डटे हुए हैं, ये सदन भी, सदन के सभी सदस्य एक स्वर से, एक भाव से, एक भावना से, एक संकल्प से वो संदेश देंगे, सेना के जवानों के पीछे देश खड़ा है.
The Prime Minister said many important issues will be debated in Parliament and the more debate happens, the better it is. Mr. Modi expressed confidence that all MPs will collectively do value addition to discussions on several subjects.
इस सत्र में कई महत्वपूर्ण निर्णय होंगे, अनेक विषयों पर चर्चा होगी और हम सबका अनुभव है कि लोकसभा में जितनी ज्यादा चर्चा होती है, जितनी गहन चर्चा होती है, जितनी विविधताओं से भरी चर्चा होती है, उतना सदन को भी, विषय वस्तु को भी और देश को भी बहुत लाभ होता है. इस बार भी उस महान परंपरा में हम सभी सांसद मिलकर के वैल्यू एडिशन करेंगे, ऐसा मेरा विश्वास है.
Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla today said it is the responsibility of all MPs to remain answerable to people and work towards bringing the hopes and aspirations of people to the notice of the government. On the first day of the monsoon session of Parliament, Mr. Om Birla congratulated the members for their enthusiastic participation in the proceedings of the House despite the COVID-19 pandemic. Mr. Birla said it depicts the strength of the democratic institutions and works towards the growth of democratic values. The government today said the country's COVID-19 recovery rate has reached 78%. During the last 24 hours, more than 77,000 COVID patients have recovered. The Health Ministry said the total number of recoveries has reached over 37,80,000. The constantly increasing recoveries have ensured that the actual caseload of the country has reduced and currently comprises only 20.36% of the total positive cases. In the last 24 hours, 1,136 deaths have been reported, taking the toll to 79,722. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate and lay the foundation stone of 7 projects related to urban infrastructure in Bihar tomorrow through video conferencing. Out of these, 4 projects are related to water supply, 2 to sewage treatment and 1 to riverfront development. The total cost of these projects is 541 crore rupees. The implementation of these projects has been undertaken by the Bihar Urban Infrastructure Development Corporation under the Urban Development and Housing Department of Bihar. Chief Minister of Bihar Nitish Kumar will also be present on the occasion. Sewerage treatment plants built under Namami Gange at Beur and Karmali Chak in Patna Municipal Corporation will be inaugurated by the Prime Minister. Hindi Divas is being celebrated across the country today. It was on this day in 1949 that the Constituent Assembly adopted Hindi, written in Devanagari script, as the official language of the country. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has extended best wishes to the people on the occasion. In a tweet, Mr. Modi congratulated all linguists who contributed to the development of Hindi. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu today called for according equal respect to all the languages and emphasized that no language should be either imposed or opposed. Addressing an online event on the occasion of Hindi Divas 2020, the Vice President said all Indian languages have rich history and people should be proud of our language diversity and cultural heritage. Youth Affairs and Sports Minister Kiran Rijiju laid foundation stones for various sports facilities costing over 12 crore rupees in Leh, Ladakh today. The minister laid the foundation for a synthetic track and astroturf for football at Leh Open Stadium. The estimated project cost is 10.68 crore rupees and scheduled to be completed by January next year. Speaking on the occasion, Mr. Rijiju said under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi, the NDA government is inculcating a sporting culture in the country, which in turn is keeping the people healthy and fit. Karnataka Water Resources Minister Ramesh Jarkiholi has said that the state will seek approval of Union Forest and Environment Ministry for the Mekedatu Dam project to supply drinking water to Bengaluru and recharge the groundwater table in the region. Speaking to media persons in Ramnagar today, the minister said the Union Jal Shakti Ministry has already given its approval for the project. Japan's ruling Liberal Democratic Party today elected Yoshihide Suga as its new leader. In the party election to pick a successor to Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, Suga received 377 votes. Shinzo Abe announced his resignation last month due to health problems. The other two contenders received a combined 157 votes. Suga is currently the Chief Cabinet Secretary of Abe's government, and he will then be confirmed as Prime Minister by a special session of the country's Parliament on Wednesday. Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. The national capital Delhi will have a partly cloudy sky. It will have a minimum temperature of 26 degrees Celsius and maximum of 37 degrees. In Mumbai there will be generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. Minimum temperature will be 26 degrees. Maximum will be around 32. Chennai will have a generally cloudy sky with light rain. Temperature will hover between 24 and 31 degrees Celsius. Kolkata will witness partly cloudy sky with possibility of moderate rain or thunderstorm. Minimum temperature in the metropolis will be around 28 degrees. Maximum will be 35. On to the north, in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, the minimum temperature will be 25 degrees Celsius in Jammu, while the maximum will be around 35 degrees. City will have a mainly clear sky. In Srinagar, minimum temperature will be around 13 degrees, maximum will be 30. The city will have a mainly clear sky. Ladakh will have mainly clear sky too. The temperature will hover between 9 and 27 degrees. In Gilgit, the temperature will hover between 15 and 32 degrees Celsius. It will have a mainly clear sky. In Muzaffarabad, there will be mainly clear sky. The temperature will hover between 19 and 35 degrees Celsius. Tomorrow is the last date for online nominations and recommendations for the Padma Awards to be announced on the occasion of Republic Day next year. The nominations will be received online only on the Padma Awards portal. The Padma Awards, Padma Vibhushan, Padma Bhushan and Padma Shri are amongst the highest civilian awards of the country. You are listening to the evening news on All India Radio. Now it's over to Renuka Aris for a review of the proceedings in Parliament today.
Now, here is a review of the proceedings in the Parliament today. First from the Lok Sabha. Writer is Kumar Rakesh of the PTI. The brief monsoon session of Parliament began today amid unprecedented safety measures for members and staff against the threat of the COVID-19 virus. This is for the first time in the history of Parliament that the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha have been integrated for conducting the 18-day session scheduled to conclude on the 1st of October. Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan informed the Lok Sabha today that over 45,62,000 novel coronavirus cases and over 76,000 deaths with a case fatality rate of 1.67% had been reported in the country till 11th of September. Making a statement on the pandemic, he said as many as 35,42,663 people had recovered from the infectious virus. The maximum cases of deaths due to the infection have been primarily reported from Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Uttar Pradesh, Delhi, West Bengal, Telangana, Odisha, Assam, Kerala and Gujarat. He said these states have reported more than 1 lakh cases. With the endeavour to manage coronavirus through the government and a whole-of-society approach, India has been able to limit its cases and deaths to 3,328 cases and 555 deaths per million population, which is one of the lowest in the world as compared to similarly affected countries, he said. The minister said the centre has taken up the COVID-19 at the highest level of political challenge. He told the House that India collectively stood up to manage COVID-19 and it is estimated that the decisions taken by the government helped in preventing approximately 14 lakh to 29 lakh cases and 37,000 to 38,000 deaths. The minister said the government had initiated a series of preventive measures to contain it. He said the Ministry of Home Affairs has constituted 11 empowered groups on March 10 on different aspects of the COVID-19 management in the country. The Lok Sabha, which met at 9 a.m., was adjourned for an hour after paying tributes to former President Pranab Mukherjee, a sitting member, and 13 former MPs who died after the last session. It was a unique day today in the Lok Sabha, with all the members sporting masks and following social distancing guidelines while participating in the 4-hour-long proceedings in the House. As soon as the House assembled, Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla paid glowing tributes to the departed leaders and security personnel who have laid down their lives while protecting the nation since March. He also remembered corona warriors like doctors, nurses, sanitation workers, police personnel and voluntary workers who laid their lives while fighting the pandemic. Later, Speaker Om Birla adjourned the House for an hour after about 20 minutes of business. The 18-day session is being held amid unprecedented precautionary measures in view of the COVID-19. India witnessed a single-day spike of 92,068 COVID-19 cases and 1,136 fatalities, taking the country's virus caseload to 48,46,424 and toll to 79,722 on Monday. MPs attending the House had to undergo a COVID test and only those with a negative report were allowed to sit in the House. The security and secretarial staff in Parliament also had to take coronavirus tests before their entry. While on the first day of the session on Monday, Lok Sabha sat from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., the Rajya Sabha began its business at 3 p.m. Rest of the days, the upper house will sit for 4 hours in the morning and Lok Sabha in the evening. The chambers of both the houses and the galleries are being used for the session and big screens have been installed to enable members to witness the proceedings. Separated by plastic shields installed in front of their benches, members attended the first day of the session. While nearly 200 members were present in the Lok Sabha chamber, a little over 30 were seated in the visitors' gallery. A giant TV screen in the Lok Sabha chamber showed very few Lok Sabha members occupying seats in the Rajya Sabha chamber, the other venue where Lok Sabha members have accommodated to follow the physical distancing norms. As soon as Prime Minister Narendra Modi entered the House, he was greeted with slogans like Bharat Mata Ki Jai. The Lok Sabha adopted a motion to do away with the question hour and private members' business during the monsoon session. Criticizing the move, the opposition led by the Congress said that the question hour is the golden hour of the House. Leader of the Congress in Lok Sabha, Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, said the argument and rationale that has been put forth by Parliamentary Affairs Minister Prahlad Joshi is far from convincing. Joshi said before arriving at this decision, Deputy Leader in the Lok Sabha and Defence Minister Rajnath Singh spoke to almost all the leaders of various parties. BJP member Ravi Kishan on Monday raised the issue of drug menace in Bollywood and asked the government to take strict action against those involved in drug trafficking. Raising the issue during 0 hour, Kishan said drugs come to the country from China and Pakistan and there is a conspiracy by the neighbouring countries to destroy the Indian youth. He said the Narcotics Control Bureau, NCB, is doing very good work. Guilty must be apprehended quickly and strict action must be taken against them, he said. The NCB is probing the drug angle in actor Sushant Singh Rajput's death case. The agency has arrested several persons, including Riya Chakrabarti, her brother, and Sushant's house manager. Supriya Sule of the NCP demanded that Parliament discuss issues concerning the economy and unemployment, which are the biggest challenges in these times. Anupriya Patel of Apna Dal asked the government to provide smartphones and internet data packages to poor students as they have no means to access online education. Sunil Tatkare of the NCP demanded that Life Insurance Corporation, LIC, which functions like a mutual benefit society, should remain 100% under the control of the government. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman on Monday sought the Parliament nod for additional spending of 2.35 lakh crore rupees, which include cash outgo of 1.66 lakh crore rupees, primarily to meet expenses for combating the COVID-19 pandemic. Of the total cash outgo, 40,000 crore rupees is towards enhanced expenditure under the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Programme and 33,771.48 crore rupees have been sought for direct benefit transfer under the Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana and National Social Assistance Programme. As part of the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana, 33,771.48 crore rupees have been transferred to beneficiaries of both women Jan Dhan account holders and old age pension holders. The government has also sought 46,602.43 crore rupees towards providing additional allocation under post-devolution revenue deficit grant to the states as per recommendations of the 15th Finance Commission. To augment the health infrastructure to combat COVID-19 pandemic in the country, the government has sought 14,231.96 crore rupees, including 5,915.49 crore rupees for meeting additional expenditure towards grants in aid general for containment of pandemic and 2,475 crore rupees to Indian Council of Medical Research. For meeting expenditure towards grants in aid general under the scheme Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana related to the Labour Ministry, the government has sought 4,860 crore rupees. The government introduced in Lok Sabha the Banking Regulation Amendment Bill, which seeks to bring cooperative banks on par with developments in the banking sector through their better management and proper regulation to protect the interests of depositors. Opposition members including Shashi Tharoor of the Congress and Sugata Roy of the Trinamool Congress opposed the bill, accusing the centre of encroaching on the rights of states. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman rejected the charge, asserting that state cooperative laws are not being touched and that the proposed law seeks to bring these banks with same regulations that are applicable on other banks. Treasury bench members opposed Roy's personal remarks targeting Sitharaman, with Parliamentary Affairs Minister Prahlad Joshi demanding an apology. Speaker Om Birla said Roy's comments have been expunged. Lok Sabha on Monday passed the National Commission for Homeopathy Bill and the National Commission for Indian System of Medicine Bill. Rajya Sabha has passed them earlier. Health Minister Harshvardhan said the proposed laws will help in better administration of homeopathy and Indian System of Medicines. The government has introduced 3 bills in Lok Sabha on farm sector, with Union Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar asserting that they will help farmers get a remunerated price for their produce as well as private investments and technology. Parliamentary Affairs Minister Prahlad Joshi on Monday introduced in Lok Sabha a bill that seeks to reduce for 1 year the salaries of MPs by 30% to meet the exigencies arising out of COVID-19 pandemic. And now, review of the proceedings in the Rajya Sabha. Writer is Rajesh Ahuja of UNI. Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu today administered the oath, office and secrecy to 15 newly elected or re-elected members of the upper house of the Parliament. The oath of affirmation was followed by a chairman making obituary references to former President Pranab Mukherjee, sitting members Beni Prasad Verma, MP Virendra Kumar and Amar Singh, and several former members of the House, and renowned music maestro Pandit Jasraj. In his obituary reference to Pranab Mukherjee, Mr. Naidu described him as a man for many reasons. He said Mr. Mukherjee handled the External Affairs Ministry with remarkable dexterity, and as the Finance Minister, he saw India through a global financial crisis. As an External Affairs Minister, he oversaw the signing of the Indo-US nuclear deal. The chairman, Mr. Naidu, said Mr. Mukherjee played a huge role in shaping laws and policy and always strived to forge unity and consensus among diverse political parties with a multitude of viewpoints. Mr. Naidu said, born in a family of freedom fighters, Mr. Mukherjee had a long and distinguished political career spanning more than 5 decades, during which he had held several portfolios in the Union Council of Ministers. He said that Mr. Mukherjee, who was conferred the Bharat Ratna, was a 4-time member of the Rajya Sabha. In the passing away of Pranab Da, the country has lost an adept administrator, an astute politician, outstanding parliamentarian, a great scholar and a visionary statesman. Mr. Naidu said, known for his sound intellect and sharp memory, Pranab Mukherjee had an in-depth knowledge that spanned across a wide variety of subjects such as international relations, financial affairs, public policy, and parliamentary procedures. This held him in good stead, and he represented the country in the international forums. Mr. Naidu said Mr. Mukherjee, who was conferred the Bharat Ratna, was a 4-time member of the Rajya Sabha. In the passing away of Pranab Da, the country has lost an adept administrator, an astute politician, an outstanding parliamentarian, a great scholar, and a visionary statesman, the chairman said. Later, Rajya Sabha proceedings were adjourned for an hour as a mark of respect for the memory of Mr. Mukherjee and the other 3 sitting members. When the Rajya Sabha reassembled at 4:41 p.m., Chairman Venkaiah Naidu also condoled the death of people who died in heavy rains and lightning across the country. Mr. Naidu said that 1.5 crore people have been affected and thousands have died due to heavy rains and thunder strikes. He also condoled the death of those who lost their lives in the natural calamities. Earlier, the chairman noted that the monsoon session is being held in extraordinary circumstances when the shadow of the COVID pandemic is looming large over the country. He said despite being the most populous country in terms of density of population, India has been able to contain the damage from the virus. He said people have learned to live with social distancing norms. The chairman appealed to the MPs to bear with any teething troubles since this is an unprecedented session during the times of the pandemic. On the occasion of the Hindi Divas today, Mr. Naidu called on everyone to promote the use of their mother tongue. He said while encouraging Hindi, promote your mother tongue. No language is superior, no language is inferior. No imposition, no opposition, the chairman observed. He suggested people in North India to tell their children to learn one South Indian language also. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman tabled a supplementary demand for grants. BJP's JP Nadda moved a motion for electing JDU's Harivansh as Deputy Chairman of the Upper House, while opposition leaders Ghulam Nabi Azad, Tiruchi Shiva and Javed Ali Khan moved motions to elect Professor Manoj Jha as Deputy Chairman. Incumbent Deputy Chairman Harivansh was, however, chosen as the new Deputy Chairman by a voice vote. And that's all in Parliament Review.
Thank you, Renuka. In some more news, in Bihar, a 2-member team of the Election Commission reached Patna today on a 2-day visit to review the preparedness for the upcoming assembly elections. Assembly election in Bihar is due in October-November as the tenure of the current assembly is scheduled to end on November the 29th. The team, which includes Deputy Election Commissioner Sudeep Jain and Chandrabhushan Kumar, held a review meeting at Muzaffarpur with concerned officials of 17 districts including Darbhanga, Madhubani and Sitamarhi. Tomorrow the team will hold a review meeting at Bhagalpur and Bodh Gaya. Before returning to Delhi, the Election Commission team will meet the Chief Secretary and other senior officials in Patna. The government has dismissed a media report which claimed that Home Ministry has ordered reopening of cinema halls across the country from the 1st of October. In a tweet, Press Information Bureau said the claim is fake. It said no decision has been taken by Home Ministry on reopening cinema halls yet. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Parliament passes National Commission for Homeopathy Bill 2020 and National Commission for Indian System of Medicine Bill 2020. Harivansh re-elected as the Deputy Chairman of Rajya Sabha. COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 78%. Prime Minister to inaugurate and lay foundation stone of projects worth 541 crore rupees in Bihar tomorrow through video conference. And Japan's ruling Liberal Democratic Party elects Yoshihide Suga as its new leader to succeed Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.com and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the evening news. Good night.